Boxing is a sport unlike any other. It's combat, an all-out duel to prove one's superiority over the other. Therefore, the stakes are limitless. The sport of boxing has given rise to many legends over the decades, dedicating their lives to show what human beings are capable of in an unarmed close combat. These people have transcended the ring to become international sensations in their own right. Either through sheer force of will, combined with excellent athleticism, or through an otherworldly mastery of skill, these are men that their opponents came to fear. Having done their time on the ring, though, these men have also come to bear immortal respect. We will count down our picks for 5 of the greatest boxers of all time and round out a sensational list of stories. Number 5, Tyson Fury. The famous Gypsy King stands as the most accomplished heavyweight boxing champion alive and kicking. As an amateur, Fury represented both England and Ireland. He won the ABA Super Heavyweight title in 2008 before turning professional later that year. After winning the English heavyweight title twice, he became the British and Commonwealth champion in 2011 by defeating the 14-0 Derek Chisora. He then won the Irish and WBO Intercontinental titles before defeating Chisora again in 2014. He solidified his status as one of the best when he fought his childhood hero Vladimir Klitschko. Against him, he claimed a sensational victory and became the WBA, WBO, IBF, and IBO ring and the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. However, one-upping your hero can often have unintended consequences that you may not want to face. A deadly lack of motivation is one of them. After his win against Klitschko, Fury took a long hiatus from the ring. He announced his retirement and ballooned to a weight of 400 pounds. Fighting an all-out war against depression and alcoholism, he was very close to ending it all. Through a sheer force of will, however, he returned in 2018 and staged another successful run, thereby making his story a warmly inspirational one for all. Following his trilogy of fights against Deontay Wilder, he has held the World Boxing Council WBC heavyweight title since 2020. With his defeat of Deontay Wilder, Fury became the 3rd heavyweight title after Floyd Patterson and Muhammad Ali to hold the Ring Magazine title twice. After facing Derek Chisora yet another time and winning in December 2022, he went on to fight former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou in a fight that nonetheless surprised him. It was the publicity stunt he needed in order to create hype for his upcoming showdown with Alexander Usyk. As of December 2022, Fury is ranked in the world's best active heavyweight by BoxRec and ESPN. Regardless of the outcome of his fight against Alexander Usyk, what is undoubtable is that he's currently the living shadow of what made the heavyweight division so exciting and full of legendary stories in the previous centuries. He is one of the greatest boxers of all time, by all accounts. Number 4, Mike Tyson. Tyson was born on June 30th, 1966 in Brooklyn, New York. He was a member of various street gangs at an early age and was sent to reform school in upstate New York in 1978. His life changed that year, as social worker Bobby Stewart directed him to renowned trainer Cus D'Amato. D'Amato was of similar mind and had adopted a fatherly role for young Tyson. As such, he became his legal guardian. Iron Mike was born right then. Tyson compiled a respectable 24-3 record as an amateur and turned professional in 1985. D'Amato taught Tyson his signature peekaboo boxing style that became renowned the world over. It involves hands held close to his cheeks and a continuous bobbing motion in the boxing ring that made his defense almost impenetrable. Of course, it also relied on excellent stamina, and Mike Tyson was one of the most energetic heavyweights out there. At the tender age of 20, he became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, with the second-round knockout of Trevor Berbick to claim the crown of the World Boxing Council, WBC. On March 7, 1987, he acquired the World Boxing Association WBA belt when he defeated James Smith. Next up to fall before his ravages was Tony Tucker. After he defeated Tony Tucker on August 1, 1987, Tyson was unanimously recognized as champion by all 3 sanctioning organizations. From then on, he made 10 successful defenses of his world heavyweight title, including victories over champions Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks. He was pretty much on top of the world during this period and had become a household name directly because of his amazing successes. Standing 5'9", he was rather short for a heavyweight, but he was all the more muscular, strong, and energetic. However, success would get to his head, and he became wasteful and started to slack off in training and his fights. This was much to the death of his trainer Cus D'Amato, to whom he had grown so close. After the deaths of D'Amato and manager Jimmy Jacobs shortly after, Tyson aligned with controversial promoter Don King. It was a very toxic decision, and Don King had used him for his own ends while leaving him dry. In 1992, Tyson was convicted on controversial rape charges and sentenced to 6 years in prison, although he was released on parole after 3 years. After his release in 1995, he sought to set himself straight once and for all. He engaged in a series of comeback fights, regaining the WBA and WBC titles in 1996. After that, however, devastating losses to Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, and finally Kevin McBride in 2005 resulted in retirement. Throughout Tyson's boxing career, he had a total of 58 fights, 50 wins, 44 wins by knockout, 6 losses, and 2 no contests. The legacy of Iron Mike Tyson lives on, as he's regarded as one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. His ferocious and intimidating boxing style, as well as his controversial behavior inside and outside the ring, have left an indelible mark on the sport. He's been a chief inspiration for many power punchers that followed him since, and his reign cemented the idea in many laymen that a boxer just had to be strong and ferocious with no quarters given. Number 3. Saul Alvarez. Saul Canelo Alvarez was born on July 18, 1990 in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. He started boxing when he was around 13 years old after watching his older brother Rigoberto debut as a professional. His family didn't grow up fortunate, and therefore he dedicated himself completely to being a boxer. In 2004, he won the silver medal at the Junior Mexican National Championships held in Sinaloa. The next year, he became the 2005 Junior Mexican National Boxing Champion in Tuxtla Gutierrez at the age of 15. That was also the year when he turned professional, as finishing his education and keeping his amateur career going till a chance at the Olympics was untenable. He was out to shake the typically forward-attacking local Mexican boxers by surprise. Years of training have guided him towards his signature defensive and counter-punching reliant style, being able to exploit openings in his opponent's guards while avoiding punches with head and body movement. Later on, he also developed a hell of a lot of power to be able to reliably use hard punching power techniques. A combination of all of them enabled him to shatter Billy Joe Saunders' orbital bone, making it a very serious injury. He's held multiple world championships in 4 weight classes, from light middleweight to light heavyweight, including unified titles in 3 of those weight classes and lineal titles in 2. Alvarez is the first and only boxer in history to become undisputed champion at super middleweight, having held the World Boxing Association, WBA, World Boxing Council, WBC, and Ring Magazine titles since 2020, and the International Boxing Federation, IBF, and World Boxing Organization, WBO titles since 2021 after defeating Caleb Plant decisively. As of September 2023, Alvarez is ranked as the second best active boxer pound for pound by BoxRec. He's also one of the highest paid athletes in the world, making Forbes' list of the world's highest paid athletes in 2019, 2022, and 2023. His career stands at 60 fight wins, with 2 losses and 2 draws since defeating Jermell Charlo on the 30th of September 2023. He's considered to be one of the greatest and most well-rounded boxers in the sport ever. Possible future fights against David Benavidez or Terrence Crawford offer him a chance to end his career on one of the highest notes possible for Mexican boxing as a whole. Number 2. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was born on February 24, 1977 in Grand Rapids, Michigan, to a family of boxers that included his father Floyd Mayweather Sr. and his uncle Roger Mayweather. While at first glance it may seem that he had the ideal upbringing for boxing, it was anything but. Mayweather Sr. was in prison, and Jr. lived with his mother, who succumbed to drugs. Poverty hung over his head as a child growing up. Mayweather earned the nickname Pretty Boy during his amateur career because of his unmarked face. But why was his face unmarked from the fighting? Because his defense was already so good that he rarely got hit in the face. He won the National Golden Gloves in 1993, 1994, and 1996. He also competed in the 1996 Olympics, but it wouldn't go very far for him, having to settle for the bronze. He turned pro on October 11, 1996, scoring a second-round knockout of American Roberto Apodaca. Mayweather went on to win 15 major world championships from super featherweight to light middleweight, including the Ring Magazine title in 5 weight classes and the lineal championship in 4 weight classes, and twice at welterweight. He won the WBC junior lightweight title on October 3, 1998, in his 18th bout by stopping veteran American title holder Canelo Hernandez in the 8th round. The impressive victory enabled him to win Ring Magazine's Fighter of the Year award in 1998. Becoming a multi-division champion was also on his cards, as he moved up in weight 4 times, capturing Ring Magazine and WBC lightweight titles in 2001, the WBC super lightweight title in 2005, and Ring Magazine and WBC welterweight titles in 2006. One of his most famous and lucrative fights saw him beat fellow American Oscar De La Hoya for the WBC super welterweight title in 2007. The man just kept on dominating without end. And for his 2015 victory over none other than Manny Pacquiao, he was named Fighter of the Decade for the 2010s by the Boxing Writers Association of America, BWAA. In 2016, ESPN ranked him the greatest boxer pound for pound of the last 25 years. Such an honor was rightfully followed up with an induction into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2021. He retired with an undefeated record of 50 wins as an American boxer renowned for his combination of speed, power, and technical prowess, making him one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of all time. Yet, it's not brawling rage that makes him great, but his high fight IQ. Mayweather is also one of the most lucrative pay-per-view attractions of all time in any sport. He topped the Forbes and Sports Illustrated lists on the 50 highest-paid athletes of 2012 and 2013, and the Forbes list again in both 2014 and 2015. With such an impressive record, there's no wonder that he frequently makes top boxers' lists. Number 1. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. on January 17, 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky. He is consistently rated as one of the greatest athletes of the 20th century and has since become a larger-than-life figure that quite literally everyone across the world has heard of, regardless of whether they know anything about boxing. His physical prowess and a mind geared suitably towards boxing got a start at the age of 12 when he first began training. As an amateur, he won 6 Kentucky Golden Glove titles, 2 National Golden Glove titles, and 2 Amateur Athletic Union AAU national titles. His greatest achievement as an amateur boxer was winning the gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the 1960 Summer Olympics held in Rome. Ali turned professional on October 29, 1960, at the age of 22. He was the first fighter to win the World Heavyweight Championship on 3 separate occasions and successfully defended this title a record 19 times. One of his first challenges was none other than the formidable and terrifying Sonny Liston to become the youngest boxer to unseat a reigning heavyweight champion. By all accounts, he was supposed to be a cupcake for Sonny Liston, but defying all odds, he beat him to become the world heavyweight champion. Since then, Ali was matched in a number of fights which have been rated among the greatest sporting events of the 20th century. These include his fight of the century against Joe Frazier, the Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman, and the Thriller in Manila again against Joe Frazier. Both of these men, of course, would achieve fame of their own, being some of Muhammad Ali's greatest rivals. In 1978, Muhammad Ali became the first man to win the heavyweight title 3 times. But what made Muhammad Ali a global sensation was his humanist activism, especially against discrimination and racism. He is also known for his refusal to participate in the Vietnam War. Ali's career was interrupted by his refusal to be enlisted in the U.S. Army, but he still ended his career with an impressive 56 career wins out of 61 bouts, with 37 coming via knockout. He retired in 1981 against a fight against Trevor Berbick in the Bahamas. Ali's actions as a conscientious objector to the Vietnam War made him an icon for the larger counterculture of the 1960s. He was also a very high-profile figure of racial pride for African Americans during the Civil Rights Movement and throughout his career. His extension of support for the then completely destitute Bangladesh in 1978, as well as humanitarian activism across the war-ravaged Middle East, also earned him much praise for decades to come. In addition to his activism in the United States, Ali was appointed the United Nations Messenger of Peace in 1998. Despite battling Parkinson's disease for 3 decades, he traveled across continents to hand deliver food and medical supplies to poor and war-ravaged communities. Muhammad Ali passed away on June 3, 2016 in Scottsdale, Arizona, after a lifelong battle with Parkinson's disease. Do you agree with the list? Leave us a like and subscribe if you agree, or let us know in the comments if you think the ranking's off. We'll see you again when the dust settles on the canvas.